now we're live. Audio and everything before you ask any questions.
Well, hello there. We're back with a quick turnaround because we are awesome. Just so you all know. And I don't know. Something. Katie introduced the podcast.
God, we're really spirited. Don't ask me why. Hi everyone. Welcome to all the films we judged before. I'm Katie. That's Lily K. That's it.
Hi. Yes.
I had thought about doing a whole bit where we did this bit really, really quietly, but I forgot to mention it, and then, and then you kind of went into it.
Wait.
No, we've done it now. It's happened.
No. But I think I still remember because I did it for A Quiet Place Part 2. Was it like...
Did you?
Well, no.
Oh.
I think that's it.
That's not what I was thinking about, but sure. I was just going to start whispering, but that's fine.
We can whisper, it's fine. ASMR.
No. Immediately, I want to bow out of this one. Oh no!
What's the problem?
Stop! That's right in my ear, man. Me and everybody else who listens to this in audio format are like, why?
Sorry.
Oh
I
god.
enjoyed it. You can admit it.
No, I don't. I hate it.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
so sad.
I don't like ASMR. I don't listen to it very intentionally.
I can understand why. It's okay.
I don't
yes.
know if we have anybody in the chat yet, but if
Yes.
anybody is, well, I mean, hopefully, it seems we've got a viewer. But if anybody's listening, if you could let me know how the sound is, that would be great, because I was too quiet last time when I got the recording after we finished, and I didn't know the entire episode. So, if I need to turn it down, if I need to turn it up, please let me know. That's all. I don't have any news. I know there is news. I've just not gone looking for it. And my excuse for that is I've had a migraine for most of the week, so I haven't done any of that kind of work. So I'd like to apologise, but
Leanne says all good.
okay. Thanks, Leah.
So we're all good. I mean, you're all good. I'm always all good.
Okay, good. But yes, I have had a migraine for most of the week. And at other points I've just been busy. So I haven't been looking for, like, I haven't written any new stuff down, unfortunately. I know there's been stuff happening. Again, I'm sorry. I'm aware that this kind of the point of this part is that I'm meant to tell you all the stuff that's been happening, but we've spent so long not, doing it. I feel
it happened one time where we didn't do it.
Yeah, but that was like a month ago at this point.
What are you talking about? It was for the tier list. That's when we didn't do
I know,
it.
but at that point, it had been several weeks since the last time, so it feels like all the news is stale, We all, known about at this point, so it's kind of like... yeah. It's fine. I just haven't done it.
It's fine.
So we're going to not do that this week.
But we can do the... until we wait for people. What did you watch last week, I guess?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can do that. So what did you
Tell
watch?
me. Oh.
Uno, reverse!
Wait, hold on. I can't do that without my little book where I write up everything. I watched a shit ton of things because I am back in the mood to watch things. And I also...
She's back in the mood to fight.
and I also got myself a new streaming service that only has, Korean dramas on it. So it's very dangerous for me. I already watched, 4 movies and I finished 3 TV shows. I only got it because it was the only service that had one of my new favorite Korean dramas, Night Has Come, which is kind of like Squid Game and The 8 Show put together, but it's with teenagers, and it's very brutal. And I always love when they go and it's great. It was very good. I don't like the ending. That's my only problem with it. I was kind of expecting it, but I was like, please don't do that. And then they did, so I'm a bit upset about the ending. But other than that, everything was great about it. I really enjoyed it. And then I watched Twinkling Watermelon, which was another thing on my list that I wanted to watch, and it was so good. I cried on every episode. without failure. It was so heartfelt. It had everything that I love about Korean TV shows, like literally all the romances, everything in it. The time travel, it has time travel in it, and it's wonderful and beautiful, and everything was just great. And then I finished Lovely Runner, which I didn't like at first, and then I fell in love, and it's so good. So I highly recommend it. And then the movies I watched was Tunnel, which is a catastrophe movie. It's so good. Sinkhole, another one. That's another disaster movie. Once again, Korean. What a surprise. So good. What else did I watch? I watched If, the John Krasinski.
Oh, I heard that was a bit naff.
It was, but it was sweet.
This is the impression that I got.
Yeah.
Was that it was a little bit lost, but ultimately
Yeah.
quite nice.
Yeah, it was very sweet. I really like when Ryan Reynolds is just
A
sweet.
nice guy, yeah.
Lovely, yeah. So it was very sweet. Nothing memorable, mind you, but it's a fun watch for like one time. And then I watched the horrible Netflix movie Under Paris, which was just awful, except for the last 15 minutes where the sharks went like haywalk on everyone.
Oh, I
And
was like, that sounds vaguely familiar. It's because I
yes,
saw like a bunch of posters for it.
yeah,
I think they actually were like, hey, look at these AI generated. I don't know if that was what I saw or not, but that might be a lie.
it
Don't hold me to that. They
yeah,
definitely did something with like alternative posters.
probably. I don't know. I'm not, it's a very bad
Well,
movie.
you had to say I'm not on social media because that's not true.
Yeah, fair. And I was really looking forward to this movie, and then it was a huge disappointment, and I turned it off. I got my hands on. I saw the TV Glow. No,
You're not a
it
fan?
was.
I've
Yeah,
been quite interested in seeing that actually.
I know.
Um,
You would probably like it.
I probably have it because I saw one line from it and I went, I think that might kill me actually.
What was
In a
the line?
good, it was him talking about like they were like talking about sexuality between each other, and he was basically like, "Oh, I don't know. I think I just like TV shows."
Yes.
When I think about that, I think it gets
Yeah.
me all
Oh yeah,
like
that's
messed
you.
up inside. I was like, "Okay,
Yeah, it's definitely
fine,
cool. It
I'm normal."
Yeah, the thing is, I was misled with that movie
Hmm.
because I thought that it's gonna be like a genuine horror movie, uh, and it's not. So I got a tiny bit fed up with it, like around the 50-minute mark, which I could have held up till the end, but then I I went into it a little bit more just to check it out. Like, is there anything horror stuff happening in it? And it wasn't, and I wasn't that interested to finish it, so I never did.
So
But
what you're
everyone was
saying
great in it. Is
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 I'm
just
gonna really like it.
yeah, you're gonna really like it.
Yeah,
It's not my cup of tea.
I keep seeing it and I'm like, that looks really interesting to me. So I will
Yeah,
give it a go at some point, but I'd have to get my hands on it, and I don't really know where it's available here. Also, I want to say that Ian says you have nice sunglasses.
thank you. It's the Edith glasses.
I know, I was there when you bought them.
Yeah, it was echoing. I saw it. I was like, that's mine.
Yeah, you did.
Uh,
like, immediately, like, I'm buying these.
yeah, that's it. It was an easy decision. And what else? I am watching House of the Dragon, which is fucking great. I'm watching The Boys, which is just going through my favorite season so far. Uh,
So,
and
sorry,
The Acolyte.
real quick. Hi, Brian.
Oh, hello.
Brian would have been with us today, but unfortunately, the movie didn't come out on time in the US. Um, but he'll be with us in a couple of weeks. Well, he'll be with me in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Um, for the bear, which we'll be getting to on the 12th. It would be next week, but I'm not available. So,
Fair, 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 fair. All right. What did you watch last week?
well, what did I watch last week? Well, I watched. Well, here's the thing. Most of what I watched is what we're going to be talking about today, which is
Yes.
this, A
Yes.
Quiet Place, day one, and also I watched all of The Bear yesterday, which again I have a lot of thoughts on, but you're gonna have to wait a couple of weeks before you find those out. I'm gonna have to sit and stew them for a while before I regurgitate all my feelings on them. I've been watching Interview with the Vampire every week.
Yes.
So happy. That show, yeah, I feel like I keep saying it, but like it was such a slog for me to get into. Like
Mm,
I wasn't vibing with the first season. This
mm.
second season is fucking fantastic. Everybody in it is giving like just the most insane performances
Yeah.
that I have I've ever seen. Jacob Anderson is one of the most insane actors that is working on television at the moment. That's
Okay.
just straight up. He's doing some bonkers stuff, and Assad Zaman is giving this. I just I didn't think much of Armand as a character until episode 5 of their season, which is just this perfect little, basically bottle episode, and I'm obsessed with it. I watched it twice in the same day. It's
Okay.
like
You're definitely obsessed then.
I know it's really good, and plus season 3 just got announced,
Yes.
which means
Yes, it did.
we're getting Rockstar Lestat.
That's always the fun part, to be fair.
It's gonna be so crazy.
Yeah.
It's also really interesting because we've not seen a version of the Lestat that hasn't been told through somebody else's perspective yet. So getting to see a Lestat that's told from his perspective sounds very, very interesting. But that one's kind of like my. I'm holding that up. The last episode comes out on Sunday. I'm not ready. What else have I been watching? I've caught up on The Boys, which we'll be talking about in a few weeks as well. That will be put alongside our Acolyte episode. If you're
Yes.
interested about our schedule, by the way, for the next month or so, I should put it in the description actually. But
You should, yeah.
you can go to our Twitter; it's on there at the moment.
Yes.
But I will make sure
I
to
put it on YouTube as well. On the community
Oh.
thing.
Thank you. Yes, I will. I'll put it in the description here. Make sure it's in the description for the audio episode. So hopefully, if you're listening to this on various podcast platforms, it will already be available for you to see. But we have basically up until mid-August set out for what we're going to be doing, with hopefully no issues.
It's gonna work out unless my
No
partner
issues at
decides to
all.
be an asshole. Like the bear, which I have to wait for till the 17th of July. So fuck you all. Anyway, yes.
Such a shame because
It is.
there's a lot of Will Poulter content that I was not expecting.
My boy,
He is in it. Just a little
my
tease for
boy's
you.
back.
Um,
I already love him. Yes.
I have so many things, but it has to wait.
It has to wait
It has to wait.
because we have to talk about the lovely people
Yes.
behind you and the lovely. Look at this because I'm always coming home from the
God.
cinema like this. Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on, there it is.
she's got a poster, ladies and gentlemen.
Of course I do. I was like, I need that right now. I also got the Alien Romulus poster, and I also got the Deadpool and Wolverine poster because I was like, I need all of that.
You have less wall space than I do, and you are constantly getting. What do you do with the ones that you don't put up?
That never happens.
Where are they all then?
Should I? Hold on.
No.
Hold on.
Oh no. For the audio listeners, she's gotten up, she's turning lights on, and I think she's starting to start showing me the entire room because.
Look, it's
Oh.
all on the.
Oh my
ceiling.
gosh. But like it feels like you just have like an infinite number of them. I don't understand. Wow. I mean, she has used up every piece of available real estate. It's quite impressive.
They are everywhere. They are everywhere.
They're everywhere.
I love movie posters. I can't help it.
I've actually not put it up yet, and because I was planning on showing it to you once I had. But my dad came home with an Andor poster for me the other week, like a proper nice for season 1 Andor poster. It's gorgeous and it's a really nice poster. I'm planning on putting it up just here where my Bioshock poster is because I think it's time. I think I'm going to retire it for a bit.
Gonna
I
retire him.
I love my Bioshock poster, but I think it might be time to switch it out for something new. And that Andor poster, I think, seems like a great candidate. So it was either that or the Last of Us one. And I kind of want to keep the Last of Us one.
No.
Yeah.
Keep the Last of Us one. I have the same one, so we share then. Mm-hmm. It's also on the ceiling because I didn't have any more space.
Oh, what a feeling!
Whoopsie. Anyway, let's get into
Yes.
our
Yes, I
very
haven't watched anything
spoilery-
else. That's just to put that out there. I haven't really
I
not
figured.
wanted to watch anything else. I've been replaying Baldur's Gate. I've started a Dirge playthrough, I'm doing a full Dark Age playthrough. I've only played it twice through properly.
Okay.
But I've also been replaying stuff on Final Fantasy 14 in preparation for Dawn Trail. Early access came out today, which is what I've been doing all day.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, those are taking up more of my time. But more importantly, is we're going to be talking about this movie,
Oh,
which
there's a news with this movie.
oh,
Oh,
there's a news, is that?
there's a news that we're gonna
What
get a
news?
Quiet Place game, which
Oh
looks
yeah,
very, very exciting. I shit my pants. I can't talk. What the fuck?
slow it down, slow it
Slow
down.
it down. So when I played Alien Isolation, I was just terrified throughout the whole experience. Yet I played it 3 times. So if this is gonna work the same way Alien Isolation did, I will love it.
I watched the trailer. I went, oh, that's interesting. I'm never playing that.
Oh, I will. I will play the shit out of it. I'm so excited for it. I'm like,
I am impossible with tension, especially in video games. I'm like, meh. First time I played Bioshock, I think I got maybe 5 minutes into it before I put the controller down for half an hour because I saw a shadow on a wall and I went,
no.
nope, 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 nope.
Oh God.
I did
Yeah.
finish it.
Then it's not
I did actually finish it. I loved
okay.
the original Bioshock. It just took me a minute to get
And
over
the
myself. I've never touched Alien Isolation, and I'm not going to.
understandable. It like I spent most of that game hiding in places because I was too terrified. But I played it 3 times, so it still worked. So yeah, we're gonna get a Quiet Place game coming out this year, nonetheless, and it's beautiful. I'm so excited.
Have this feeling it's either going to be surprisingly amazing, or it will be shit.
Apparently, they've been developing it since the first one. The first one we came out in 2018.
Okay, well, then
So
hopefully.
it should be
Hey,
all right.
wait, no, hang on.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, you can't see it because the plastic's still on it. Games are back.
Oh,
Games are back, everybody.
yes. Back.
This from outside Xbox. This was a birthday present from Charlotte.
Oh, nice. Someone tell me when the remastered Until Dawn is coming out because I can't wait any longer. I don't remember.
I think
Anyway,
it's the latter part of this year. I
don't
feel
know.
like it's. I'd have to look it up. We're not doing that right now. We're talking
No,
about
we're
a
talking
quiet
about
place.
A Quiet Place.
Games are back. That's so true. Hi, Kevin. Also, Ian dipped because of the spoilers, but we'll see. Hopefully, come see us.
dare you.
Come back and see us on Sunday, Ian. Once you've
Yes.
seen the movie, please, please, please,
Yes.
please, please. As is the same with everybody, because we will be spoiling this movie. We'll start off by giving our, initial thoughts, as we always tend to
Spoiler-free
do,
thoughts,
spoiler-free thoughts, and we will let you know as clearly as we can that we will be when we'll start spoiling the specific parts of the movie.
Yeah.
So you can stay up until that point if you haven't seen it, but you should go see it. Is our first
Yes,
point.
it's the most important part. Yes. So let's get into the spoiler-free thoughts.
Spoiler-free
What did
thoughts.
you think about the movie?
I
Without spoilers.
I loved it. Like I mean, so let's start again.
Yes.
You were a big proponent for for the first movie for a long time, and I was reticent to watch it mostly because I missed it in the cinema, not because I thought I wouldn't like it. I was a little bit unsure because it's only recently that I've started feeling like I can go to the cinema to see horror movies, and even then, these are in the sort of safe place of horror movies. I feel like they are horror movies, but they are not like horror movies, if you know what I mean. There's a certain type of horror movie that I'm just not going to ever touch with a barge pole, because I value my mental health. And but this one I feel like leans more into that thriller space, which I enjoy a lot more. But back in what was it, 20? When did Quiet Place Part 2 come out? 2021?
21.
Yeah.
21? Yes.
Yes, because no, I wouldn't have been able to see it in cinema in 2020
No, in
because
2020. It was delayed from 2020.
yeah, so 2021. My local cinema did a back-to-back showing of the first one and the second one, which is great because it was like the perfect way to watch both of them. I got to see them in the lounge, which is my local cinema's big, comfy chaired screen. There's like far less seats in there, and they're all big recliner chairs, and you can order food to your seat, and it's the best thing ever. And I refuse to go to any other screen in my cinema because it's not as good. It's so much more comfortable to watch a movie when you're kind of lying down. Let's just put it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And you have way more space. So I got to see them back to back, and it was the best decision I've made because I loved both of them, as we said in our Quiet Place Part 2 review that we did about 3 years ago at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I was already like in a place where I wanted to see this, and I thought it was going to be good, but I
Yes.
was kind of intentionally not thinking about it too hard because I was like, this cast is bonkers. It's kind of like the not what I would expect, but I'm obsessed with the choices.
Mm.
Which I kind of got from it has been the case throughout all of three of the Quiet Plates movies. Like it just they
Yeah.
keep picking people that I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
I'm interested in
Yeah.
that. Let's watch that.
Yeah.
But I kind of just kind of dialed back my excitement on it because I knew you were very excited about it. I know
Mm.
it's not like I wasn't excited. I just was like, expectations tempered, you know?
Mm.
We'll
Mm.
see what it is. Because it's
Mm.
like, John Krasinski wrote the story, but he didn't write the script for it.
Yes.
And it's one of those like, just taking a step back. We'll see how it goes. And then it turned out to just be this beautiful, just movie about selflessness and kindness. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked about this before. I am not a crier much at the movies. I do cry. It's just I'm not in the way that you do. I'm not somebody who cries easily. In fact, a lot of the times when I cry at movies, it's like I usually get like I don't know if I'm actually using the term properly, but it's like crocodile tears. I get like a little bit misty, but I can't really nothing really
Mm.
comes out, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like I mean it came out of nowhere.
Oh,
I was like,
100%.
what the like it's the easiest tears I've had in a movie in a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Which I means I rate it a lot higher because any movie that can get me feeling that kind of a way
Oh yeah.
without even like having to like work myself into it,
Mm.
perfect. Love it. Amazing. Incredible.
Agreed. Agreed.
You know, it's tense, it's sweet, it's heartbreaking. It's kind of everything you want out of a film. I love the cast. I kind of don't want to talk about it anymore until we do the spoilery bits because there's like lots of little specific stuff that I want to talk about. So I'll pass over to you. What do you think?
I did love it, but I am also disappointed in it a little bit.
Interesting.
I'm
Say
not gonna
more.
lie. Well, if you guys ever listen to our Quiet Place Part 2 review, which if you didn't, then you can still do it because it's still up on YouTube and on Spotify and everywhere you can listen to audio podcasts. One of my main points about that movie, other than loving Cillian Murphy coming back to horror, is that first 10 minutes where they show day one from the perspective of the Abbott family was probably my favorite horror moment ever in any horror movie. It was so fucking intense, and I was dying watching it. I was so nervous, even though you knew that they're not gonna die just yet. Like we're not at that part, but they built up the tension, and it came out of so fucking nowhere, and I was like, oh god, this is so good. Like I want to see more of this. And I think what annoyed me and surprised me, to be fair, with this movie, is that it is titled Day One, which is why I was very excited because I was expecting that same rush and just
Yeah.
action packed, just like just monsters tearing people apart kind of thing. All the way to, no, not all the way to, but like for most part, basically, and then you're not getting that, and I think they did what Gareth Edwards likes to do in Monsters or in the first Godzilla movie, where he kind of build, they kind of build on some of the more intense scenes where there's big crowd, or at the beginning, for example, which is not spoiler yet because it's in the trailer as well. But I think they kind of pulled a trick on us with that trailer.
They did, and we'll talk. I don't know if we're going to be. I don't know if we're talking about the same thing, but
I,
so we'll get into that when we get into the spoiler stuff. But there is
yes.
a very huge element that is not in the trailers that's quite integral to the entire movie that I was like, interesting. I really liked it, but I can see what you're going. Immediately when you start talking about this, I'm like, I know exactly what she's going for here. I know exactly what's irritating her about it now.
Yeah. But the other thing is that despite missing what I was expecting to see, and in ways it was still there kind of, but again I feel like a lot of, well, both of the times that it happened, they kind of build on that more intense part of the movie. I fucking loved the characters so much, and that's on Lupita and Joseph that
Yeah,
I don't mind after all. I'm gonna say that I am still waiting for a Quiet Place movie where it's just like
you just
going,
want to
going,
go, go,
going,
go,
going,
go the
going,
entire
going, going.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can
I'm
understand that. I understand.
yeah. Because I think that's peak content in part two at the beginning. That's I can watch it over and over again, I would still have goosebumps every single time. I'm like, I know what's happening, but I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, and that's what I want from my horror.
I
That's
haven't watched part. Is it called part two? It was called part
part
two,
two.
wasn't it?
It is
Yeah.
part two. Yeah.
I haven't watched part two since I saw it in the cinema, so it's been 3 years.
Wow.
Since I saw the first, so I saw both of those in cinema. I have not seen them since. I think part of it is because I don't want to ruin that atmosphere that I had for those movies.
Okay.
I don't know if I could recreate it, in my home. I mean, I probably yeah, it was such a perfect viewing experience for me that I'm a little reticent to try and
Mm.
there's part of me that is just a little bit like I don't touch the bubble. The bubble was so perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, it again has been so. I think I remember all the important parts of part one well enough to not feel the urge to watch that one again. But part two is like huge gaps of like memory missing about like what actually happened within like the beats of the movie. I remember the ending because I remember the ending being like, okay, I guess that's it, because it ends so rapidly.
Yeah.
But yeah, part two is the one I've been thinking a lot about like watching again. Hopefully, I'll get to it at some point. But you're right. I think the characters are the thing that make this movie
Oh, 100%.
perfect
Like,
for
you know,
me.
if it weren't for them, I think I would have more problem
Oh yeah, sure.
with what I was expecting and what I got.
It really it is the first thing I said to you after you came out because you said it was sneaky and I was like, literally, it's very sneaky.
It is, yeah.
But I in a way that really made me happy because it was not what I was expecting, but it the things that it leaned into instead was like, oh, actually, this is the sort of movie that I love, you know.
It's
There's
very good.
it is a drama in many ways, and I love the themes. I'm a big fan of themes, as we all know.
Yes.
But I thought that the theming of this one was really, really, really lovely. Yeah, because if I start talking anymore, I'm going to start getting into spoilers. So
Yeah,
should we transition?
let's talk spoilers.
Uh,
This is the point where we can start talking about
Spoilers
spoilers regarding The
here.
Quiet Place.
So if you
Day
were
one.
wondering if you should watch it, that's your cue. You should go see it because it's a
Yes.
very good. Again,
It's a
the
very
the
good
thing
movie.
about these movies is that great cinema films. If you're looking for an excuse to go to the cinema for any particular reason, this is a
This is
great
it. Yeah.
great excuse to do that.
This is it, yeah.
I am such like a so I don't cry much in movies, but when movies are tense, I will. If a movie is making me feel any kind of way, I'm not going to hide it, right? So
Yeah.
tense
That's a
movies
given.
have me usually watching them like this
Yeah.
or like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I am twitchy, especially in these movies. And the number of times where the things were like, we need to be quiet, I actually had my hand over my mouth.
Same. Yeah.
Regular. Um, so regular.
I mean, I watched the entire first movie like this. Like,
There was there
they
were
are that good that
they,
you just feel like if you make a sound, they're gonna fucking die, and then you're like,
Oh god, I was going to say something. Yeah, no, it's they are affecting in that way for sure.
So good. And the
I
cinema was quiet again, which is always like,
It is very good for doing that. There was an old woman sitting next to me, and I do have to think that she maybe thought that I was a little insane. Because I really was just sitting there, like, twitching, like, man, just like, oh, fuck.
yeah,
But those are my favourite kind of thrillery bits and pieces. I
yeah,
love that stuff, which is
yeah.
wild because I hate tension.
And there you go.
I don't know. It's a weird thing. Tension is such a strange place because it has to be done exactly right for me to be able to like enjoy it properly. Because there is some tension that I find genuinely unbearable. Usually it happens around cringe. Actually, cringe tension is the worst thing in the world, and I hate it.
Yes, agreed.
But
Agreed.
I hate jump scare tension a lot of the times as well. But these movies do it well, and I think it's
Oh,
because
they
these
do it so
movies
well.
have a good mix of, because I hate movies that really sit you in it for too long, because I just get like, it just makes me really uncomfortable and I can't sit and watch it properly. If I'm at home, I'll just pause it and be like, fuck this. But I think a good jump scare for me has to come out of nowhere sometimes, because I don't mind being like, oh, you know. But like, if you're just building up to them constantly, I'm like, ah, fuck you, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed.
Spoiler stuff. Let's get into it. My first note is, God, what a beautiful film. Because I really wasn't expecting it to be this lovely, even though it's heartbreaking. So I think probably the first thing to start with, actually, another note that I feel like I should bring up right this second is, that cat has magic powers. I'm just saying. That
So
cat
sneaky.
was just there was some kind of, I mean, I was going to say there was some kind of force field protecting it. That's called plot armor. And I don't know if you
Yeah.
noticed, but that cat very conveniently disappeared at points
Yeah.
where
It's
you're
like,
like,
where's the cat?
where's the cat gone? And suddenly it's just walking
cat?
beside them. I was like, okay, was the cat in the bag? Because I didn't see the cat in the bag.
It was somewhere. It was somewhere. That was a
Magic
cat. That's
cat.
Frodo. The
I
cat.
love the fact that it's called the cat was
I
called
know.
Frodo, and his
I was
whole thing was
yeah.
like leading them places.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
mwah,
Yeah.
that's good stuff. I love good
It is
naming
good stuff.
conventions.
It is good stuff. There were a few times where the magic of happening off screen just came into view. There was one point where I was very very annoyed with it. I was like, I hold on. This is the exciting part, and you're not gonna show me. It's the part where Eric, Joseph Green's Eric,
This is the part where
follows the
he has
cat
to go
into
back.
yeah, and he has to go back, and I'm
They
like,
just don't show him getting out. He just like is fine.
how the fuck did he get out?
I
How?
don't know. How did he climb down with the cat in his arms?
What? Like,
There
I wanna
are
see that.
there
I
are a
wanna
couple
see
of
that.
moments in this movie that are like that a lot, where you're just sort of like, oh, okay, so we're just gonna move past that, are we?
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like that should annoy me. I bit like I'm just kind of like, ah.
I do wonder if they actually have like that scene specifically, for example, where he has to get out. Like, did they shoot that, or was it the plan from the beginning to be
Just
like,
cut it.
okay, he's like in
And
the
he's back in the
nest or
church.
whatever, and he's just like,
Yeah, it was just. I mean, it was bizarre. Again, that cat, magic powers. It's the only way I can describe it. That cat was. I mean, the cat disappeared whenever it needed to. It went underwater for a solid couple of minutes and was fine.
because it's a magic cat.
Magic cat.
It's a magic cat.
Yeah,
Such a cute cat.
I was very happy that the cat made it to the end. I think one of the things
fuck
that
yeah.
you and I both said were like, if
cat
that cat
has
dies, we're fucking rioting.
The cat has to live.
I will not lie though. That point where he's off on his own little adventure and Frodo decides to go wandering off into the field of death,
Yep.
the crash site. I think it was a crash site. That was the
It was a
impression I
crash
got
site.
about it.
It
Yeah.
was a crash site.
I was kind of like, abandon the cat. Go. You're not getting that cat back.
Just leave the cat
So, I mean, God bless you, Frodo. We all want you to survive, but don't go after that cat.
Yeah, I was the same. I was like, you're not gonna do it. Yes, he's gonna do it. Okay, fuck. But anyway, let's go back to the beginning.
Let's go
Because
back to the beginning.
I think one of the surprises is
She's dying.
Samira. She's dying.
She's dying.
She's in hospice
Yeah.
at the beginning of the movie.
And not just like, oh, she might be dying at some point. She's like,
No,
she should have been dead already, kind of dying.
yeah. She's like a goner, basically. And I gotta say that I think that's gonna sound so stupid, but I'm just gonna say it. Obviously, I figured that we're not gonna get another deaf character, even though, especially during the first trailer, it seemed like that Lupita is gonna play another deaf character. Because she wasn't speaking in the first trailer at all, and I was like, okay, we're gonna pull that again, but no, she's dying, and I think that's specifically why I could get on board, because I know it sounds really bad.
No, keep going. I love it.
Because I think my immediate first thought was, okay, so we're not gonna follow her trying to get on that ship. That we're gonna follow her going on her last adventure, basically. And I was like, okay, I'm on board now.
It's really, I mean, I think you can kind of, it's, let me start again. You get, pretty much immediately, you're like, oh, she's dying, so she's not making it to the end of this movie. It's kind of like the first, it's like the immediate thought. It's like, fine, I'm on board with that already. Show me where this is going to go. Because I honestly, the other thing was like, I went back and I looked at some of the plot synopses that are on, Google and IMDb and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, because I was like, they definitely didn't mention this in any of the, because I definitely don't remember seeing it in the trailers. But I was like, well, how do they describe the movie then? And they describe it in the most generic way possible. And I'm very impressed about the fact that they managed to keep this so, like, quiet in that way. Because they really just go, she's there when in New York when this all happens, and that's the movie, and you're kind of like, okay, so what is the impetus here? And you find out she's just like, no, I'm gonna go get pizza, and that's me done.
Yeah.
And it makes it so it's just like, it's such a quiet and really simple character motivation, which is a really, the way that they do it as well is such a great example of like this like need versus want that you get in good character arcs, where she's like, I want to go get pizza and, die alone. Basically, it's like, everything else is fucked. I'm just going to go back to where I came from, all this sort of stuff. And then turns up this guy who, his introduction, by the way, is incredible. I was not expecting it. Just a really good way to introduce a character. And a little bit prophetic about where he ends up at the end of it, I feel like. Just him coming out of the water, and then the way that he has to jump into the water to get out again at the end. Just nice. I like little details like that. Yeah. I love a little mirror. It's great. But he just really just turns up and goes, this cat led me to you. I'm really fucking scared. Can I stay by your side for a bit? And I was just like, yeah, no, I like this. I like the fact that the motivations are really simple, and that it's just a couple of people who are dealing with the end of the world, going like, yeah, sure, you seem like somebody I can trust, and all I want right now is some calm and something that is like safe, and you seem safe, and that's like the entire conceit.
That's it. Yeah.
And I just, immediately, that whole thing, I was like, I'm on board. I love the fact that he's, Eric is just nice. He's just a sweet,
he's just nice. Yeah.
Sweet man. Yeah. Because I think, I wrote it down a little bit, where
she has notes. Like, actually notes.
I wrote notes!
Yeah. I'm so proud of you.
I have to stop doing the thing where I can hold this all in my brain, and then it becomes a jumbled thing. So I was like, I got home, I wrote everything that I was thinking about down. I'm also very sorry. I've got something that's like in my sinuses at the moment. I keep
fun. Go on. Bless you. Get it out. There.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It happens.
I had dinner just before this, so I think it's just sort of setting up something. But where was my note on it? because I
on
think
Eric.
on just both of them.
Okay.
I can't find it because my handwriting's fucking terrible. Um,
I feel you on that. I can draw, but my handwriting's shit.
I mean, it's like it looks
Sucks.
nice, but I can't read it. It's a bit
It's a
all
good
over the
combo.
place.
Yeah, it's fine.
Um, yeah, I think it's just that like I feel like I've seen so many post-apocalyptic movies where here we go, where the apocalyptic sort of like mentality is like people suck and we're all gonna turn on each other, and you know you can't trust anybody and all of these things get pushed into these types of movies all the time. The fact that this movie is basically inherently about like actually when the chips are down and things suck, people will reach out to each other and look after each other. And I think that was just really nice and quite refreshing to see. Of just like getting to see a couple of people who were just like, I just want to, I just want something nice, and let's be nice to each other. Let's be kind to each other, and give each other like a place of solace. And I just,
Yeah,
I love it.
you're gonna laugh because I wrote my article this morning and
Mm-hmm.
I wrote this at the end. Like, we had it more than enough times that it's people that are the real monsters. Basically, that's the message of these kind of movies, and it was nice to get like. You know what? No, actually, there are people who are very decent and nice to each other, even at the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric easily could have just run to that ship and just fled the whole thing. But I think there were two things for his character that really worked for me. Is one of them is like he stayed because he was scared,
Mm-hmm.
but by the middle of it, he really cared
Mm-hmm.
about Sam. And it was such a good transition because we get to see him having an almost panic attack when they get too close to the
One of my
death
favorite
angel.
scenes actually
So
in the
good.
movie.
Yeah. And then he basically volunteers and says, what kind of medicines do you need? And I'm gonna go alone and I will get it for you because I care about you. And it was like, that's just yes, please do that more.
I think there's also something about literally the scene where they meet each other and they are standing under that bit of scaffolding and the rain's coming
Yes.
down and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, there's a boat to the south. You need to go there." And he just is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
clearly panicking still. It's just like, okay,
yeah.
okay,
I'm scared.
okay.
I'm
And
scared.
then yeah, he just goes, "I'm really scared,"
Yeah.
and just says it plain. Because I feel like so many movies. I watched a really great video by a guy called Thomas Flight on YouTube. He makes these little movie videos about movies and stuff that I really enjoy. But he was talking about what makes good exposition
Yes.
versus what is bad exposition, right?
Yes.
And we need exposition in movies in order to get across certain
Obviously,
pieces
yeah.
of information.
Yeah.
We have already, I think, what's nice about that scene and what he kind of explains in the movie, which I'll see if I can find after this, and I'll make sure it's in the description for our audio listeners again. Is that he kind of explains that like a good exposition should add more information to what you're already getting, so it should almost be there as well as like because you can the whole thing of like show not don't tell
Yes.
can go very hard into the show section where it's sort of like you're kind of wasting economy by
Yeah.
over showing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think it says something and we learn something about Eric as a character that in that moment when he's scared, and we already know he's scared, I think is the important thing before that.
Yeah.
It's not just telling you something because they're like, oh, I don't know if the audience is going to get this. We know very like with the context of the scene, the way that it's set up, we know he's scared. We know he's scared from the fact that he won't stop saying okay over and over and over again,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
shivering and all of these bits and pieces, and he's just sort of he followed a cat because he didn't know what else to do, right?
Yeah.
The fact that he says he's scared in that moment tells you something about him as a character, which is it's just nice writing.
Yeah.
It's nice writing and it was played so well.
I mean, to be fair, if anyone was like putting Joseph into that box of like he's Eddie Munson, you can let that go because I think this man just proved to everyone that he's such a good actor,
Mm-hmm.
and I really enjoyed like seeing this completely different character. And yes, of course, I sat in that cinema being like, that's Eddie Monson, and then I came out and I was like, yeah,
That's
that's Eric.
Eric.
That's Eric, and
He's
I love Eric, and he's honestly one of the kindest people in any horror movie
And
that
I
you
think
can
that's
ever
what's
watch.
so like relieving almost to see
Yes,
is this like at no point because there was a couple of points where I was like I could see how you could really easily take this turn and make him into something selfish or like do something cowardly or something like that. Like I think
yeah.
a lesser writing could have done that, would have done that, is
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean.
that's fair. Yeah,
But the decision to be like, no, this is a guy who just
just
wants
nice.
to do something good for another
Yeah,
person
yeah,
is just like that's I love characters who are just inherently kind
yeah. Oh yeah,
because it's like oh yeah and very intentionally kind different from nice because I think he's just like he's you know I guess you could say he's nice but he's in very like intentionally deep to his bones kind and he does
yes,
that
yes,
through
yes,
all of
yes.
his actions and I
Yeah,
think what's nice is that they're able to give and take that whole thing right where you know she's able to calm him down when he's having a panic attack in that tunnel, which fucking understandable. Another thing I really liked. I think I'm not saying that more people should have panic attacks in horror movies, but
but yeah,
it's just a
actual
nice
fear
yeah. It's
just
just
manifesting like that, like
yeah. It's like yeah. No, I think you probably would have a fucking panic attack
fuck
if you
yeah.
were walking through a subway tunnel that's flooding and you saw one of those fucking things in the roof and you knew that one wrong sound could kill you immediately. That's panic attack material.
Oh, 100%.
And he plays it so well.
He does it so well, and it happens before with one of the extras who dies when all the helicopters are going by, and he's like, "We're gonna die. That's it." Then the Jimon Hunsu's character is trying to call him down. That's another scene where I was like, fucking finally, like you have alien creatures running around your city killing people just because they hear them running around, and you're fucking scared and panicking and whatnot, because I have to bring this in because it's gonna be my pet peeve till the day I die. I I hate Alien Covenant as it exists. It's just fucking rubbish.
Okay.
But what makes it the biggest rubbish on planet Earth is the fact that they came across fucking xenomorphs that they've never seen before, and they are like, "Oh yeah, let's fucking kill it. I don't know what this is. I'm not scared. I can just kill it." And they managed to do it within 10 minutes of the movie, and I'm like, "Excuse me, the
Wait,
whole point
they
of the
actually did
xenomorph."
kill them?
Yes. The whole point of the fucking xenomorph in the first movie is that they are so fucking scared of it, and they have Ellen Ripley in that first movie, fucking hell, that they can't even think straight. They coming up with plans, but they are fucking scared, and it shows throughout the entire film that they are like terrified of this new thing that they've never seen before. And then Alien Covenant comes along, and they're like, "Oh yeah, fucking just kill it. It's fine. It's a deadly hunting machine, but it's okay."
It's
So like,
like you could do that if trying to kill it the way that they thought they were going to be able to didn't work. Because like you can have that cockiness, but it has to be shown why that cockiness is not deserved. To then just like what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's not satisfy, but like to back up their argument almost with it immediately working of like that's not the way to make a horror movie. Funnily enough,
no, no,
um,
it's not.
such
So
the
I'm very appreciative of the Quiet Place movies because of that, because they are actually fearing these things because they are the unknown, and they should be scared of them, and it shows like even Sam is like, she's dying, but like she is determined to just get through this until she gets that fucking
she wants
pizza,
that pizza.
and she's scared, and she's scared throughout the whole thing.
I think the other thing is that this movie, by all accounts, is essentially and I've only just put this together actually as you were saying that, because I was suddenly thinking about the scene when they finally get to the pizza place that she was talking about
Yes,
and it's burned down.
and it's bird down. Yeah,
The movie's a metaphor for like a life-threatening illness of like of what it means to be terminal, because she
yeah,
knows the whole time she's gonna die. So
yeah.
like, and she's like, well, if I just get this pizza, then everything will be fine.
Mm,
But it's like the pizza's not there, right?
yeah.
It's like she can't get that she can't like fulfill herself the way that she like wants to,
Wanted to. Yeah.
or like envisions herself able to.
Mm,
So it's kind of like, I mean, that's kind of it, isn't it? You don't get to choose
mm,
the dice that you have in life. You don't get to pick how they fall or anything like that.
yeah.
It's you just have to make do with the best of it, and the best of it comes from the people that you surround yourself with. Because then we get one of the best scenes in the
Oh,
entire movie.
that's why I've been crying before, but that's when I was like crying.
Because I was like the bit where I started crying was like after that for me, but I was like
Okay.
I mean it was very moving. It's just the fact that he goes out of his way to be like, he listens the entire movie is one of the big
Yeah,
things. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
he listens to everything that she has to say, and her whole thing is learning how to, she's clearly been on her own for a very long time, and this is like the first time in a long time somebody else has just, I mean, she's had kindness, but it's the first time she's been able to accept it. If
Mm,
you know, because like Alex
mm.
Wolf's character, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head, it was Alex, wasn't it? Because it wasn't Nat Wolf, it's
It
Alex Wolf.
Alex. Yeah, 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 yeah,
I was just not sure if that was actually his name.
yeah. No, that's it.
It's Alex Wolf. Alex Wolf was obviously very kind to her, but kind to her in this sort of way of like he was kind of charged with it, so it's almost
And
like she couldn't take it.
and he only saw the pain in her and the illness, basically.
That's true too. And it's like Eric came along and just saw her and wanted to listen to her
Mm.
and was just like, I'm just gonna try and look after you because you're
Yeah.
looking after me at this point and all this other stuff. And she was a little bit braver than him and like helped him keep it together. So in those moments, he was just like, hey, where did your dad used to play? And they found at the jazz club.
The jazz club. Yeah.
He finds a pizza. They
Yeah.
have a magic show.
That's. I lost it there. I was proper weeping at that point.
I mean, I love magic, generally speaking. I'm
True.
actually going.
True.
I'm going to a magic show in a couple of months. Sort
I'm
of, it's
so
like a
jealous.
magic cabaret night thing.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a whole like shebang. And it's like we're going in the afternoon, but like it's gonna
Yeah.
be
It
really
still
fun.
counts.
I've never actually seen close up magic in person before. I'm
You
so
haven't?
no, not in person. You know, it's like
Oh, it's so good.
I'm very excited about it. But like that
Yes.
whole thing where he sits her down, it's like, hey, pick a card, but like the whole thing is done so quietly, and he's
It's
really
such a
playing it
beautiful
up for
scene.
her.
Yeah.
It's just, oh,
It's. Oh,
my heart
I'm.
hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
It's.
one
It's.
gained more meaning for me after the fact because it was in the moment after, because I knew she wasn't going to survive, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know where they were going to go from there because I didn't think he wanted to get on the boat. Was the other thing. I wasn't sure where his like mind was at that point. So when they
Mm.
got back and they were like looking at the boat and they were crouching in between the cars and it became suddenly like abundantly clear she was going to go like basically
It's
sacrifice
true.
herself
Yeah. Yeah.
to make sure he gets on that boat. That's
Yeah.
when I just started weeping. Like
Yeah.
I just because I could see like the parts, I couldn't put them together properly. So when it was like, here's it presented very clearly for you, I was like, oh no.
I will say that I am also glad. This is once again going to sound so bad, but I am glad that they didn't pull the usual like we know this character is dying anyway, but we're gonna sacrifice someone for her, and I'm like, thank you. Like I was glad that they didn't go down on that road because it happened in previous movies and in different movies, obviously not in A Quiet Place or anything like that, but I was like, sure, it's a nice heroic thing, but like we kind of don't need it.
No.
Like it is her time, and the whole movie is building toward that, like the final journey and finding the joy in life basically once more, and that's why the ending is so fucking brilliant, because she's listening to Nina Simone's Feeling Good at the end, and then when the minute she took out the earphones and then just unplugged it and it started playing, and then because they are called death angels, named by the people of the internet, just comes in on the background, and it just all fades to black, and she's a goner, but like it's so beautifully done because she achieved it. She achieved her last goal. She got the pizza. She saw her dad's place one last time.
But yeah, this is the thing, because I was just looking at my notes again.
Yes.
Hang on, I'm looking at the thing. Love that the essential meaning around the movie was just them. I'm scared, let's be there for each other. Eric had no reason to go to Harlem other than he didn't want to be alone. I don't think he would have made it to that boat if it hadn't been for Sam. And
Oh,
vice versa.
yeah. Yeah.
Sam would have died an unfulfilling death without Eric.
Yes.
So it's just the fact that they managed to
It's true.
he gave her a reason to try a little longer and to love a little bit one last time before
Yes.
going. And
Yeah.
that was the perfect encapsulation for all of it, of just sort of like, I
Yeah.
know this is the end for me. Let's make it worth something. Let's make
Yeah.
it mean a little bit to
Yeah.
somebody somewhere. Let me leave this little mark in the world
Yeah.
before I go. It's just made me so I love movies like this. So
So
made for
good.
me.
Yeah. It's really good. It's really good. It was a genuine surprise that they went with this in the end. I'm not. It's a good kind of surprise at the end of the day. I will say that I was just a tiny bit more scared, just a tiny bit more, because we ventured into more of the drama. Is like, it's there in part one and part two as well. So I'm like,
This is a
I'm
bit
not
more of
gonna.
a drama movie.
Yeah, but it's a bit more drama, and when they actually have the Death Angels come along, it's more like an action movie. Like, there wasn't really that horror stuff that I was waiting for, and I think there were missed opportunities because of that.
I could
Because
see that.
the only genuine time where I was like proper fucking scared. No, I'm lying. There were two. The first one is when the cat almost, gets itself killed at the beginning, and with
Magic
that poor
cat.
magic cat, poor Alex Wolff is that. And this is the first time we see a Death Angel up close. When he gets close to Alex Wolff's character and just, taps on the dead body with its
That
like
was kind of sick.
I was
There's
like,
a couple of bits of, like, I guess, information that we almost learned about them in
yeah,
this movie. The way that they
yeah,
like, I mean, we had a little bit of a sense of like the way that their faces work and how they kind of resonate sound, and that's how
yeah,
they
yeah,
pick
yeah,
up
yeah.
stuff and all this other stuff. I love the fact that they use that to like
I know,
tap the way around. I
I
love that
know,
was such a good little detail. And also
so
that
good.
scene at the crash site, I was like, are those eggs? And then they started eating them,
Eating it, yeah.
and then it's sort of like, what does that mean? What does that mean?
I think because in my mind that just makes them even more cruel, and the whole concept of them is just even more cruel, because that means that they are not eating the people that they are killing, because they have a proper food source probably that came with the meteorites with them, and I'm like,
Because
they're just killing for sport.
when it
That's it.
happened, I thought they were eggs, and I thought that
I thought that as well. Yeah,
the point thing about them opening them was to suggest that they
just
couldn't reproduce on Earth, because it looked like he opened it and there was nothing in it, or like it just didn't, like, whatever was meant to happen didn't work. And then they started eating it, and I was like, well, maybe
yeah,
that theory was wrong. But like that would
yeah,
have been really interesting if they made their way all the way here, and then it turned out that this planet couldn't sustain them. I would have been like, that's interesting. That makes
yeah,
that is
mm,
you know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
But then it wouldn't work on the long run, because by the time part one's main events happen, it's been 400 and whatever days that they've been on Earth. So I would imagine that if they can sustain themselves, they would have died by that point. So like,
maybe I don't know. I just thought maybe there was like fucking fun.
I think that my whole takeaway from that scene is that they don't even eat us. It's just literally like, oh, you're making a sound, fuck you, and that's it, and just killing people left and right, and that's it.
Mm.
And I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, that's so cruel. That makes it even worse. I'm
it's
not gonna
kind of
lie.
worse. Yeah.
But
I
that scene, like, was a proper like horror setup. That was the first
The
time where I was like,
one that I think got me the most, at least with the sort of like horror really is kind of the word for it, is the bit where they the helicopters go across and they're like, "Hey, everybody get to the south," right? And they're like, "Everybody head to the south together," or like, be careful and all this sort of stuff. And she gets out with the kids from under the
oh, you
fountain.
mean the big crowd part?
When they all
Yeah,
started like moving together, I was like, "Those footsteps, those footsteps are too
too
fucking
loud,
loud, dude.
too
They're
loud,
too loud.
too loud.
There's too many of you. Split up."
That's where my other pet peeve happened. I was waiting for the action there, and we got some, but it's literally spoiled in the trailer. All of that part.
Was it? I didn't. I only watched the first trailer, kind of
Same,
once.
but it's in it.
Isn't it? I just wasn't paying that much. I did. After I watch a trailer like that, I tend not to. I try not to think about it too much. If I can forget about it as much as possible, I'm like, great, happy for it. So I didn't realize that was like
The
in the
thing is
trailer
that I
like
was
that.
too excited for this, so I was like, I remember that the part that they didn't show in the trailer is the beginning when they first arrive and the ash is everywhere, and Sam is trying to get away. That's not in the trailer, so that was
Interesting.
like that's why I was like. But anyway, I let that disappointment go because altogether I genuinely think that it's a fucking great movie, and I really really loved it.
I liked that idea. I liked the concept of that scene at least, but just the quiet, the fact that I think that the one of the things that this movie does really well is its Foley, like the fact that all of those really quiet sound so fucking loud, is
Loudest quiet place
it's
movie.
I also actually to think about it, the opening to the movie was like, oh okay, thanks for that. The fact
Yeah,
that like they're like the average noise level of New York City is 90 decibels.
that's about
That is
yeah.
about the sound. It's like that is the sound of a constant scream. It's like
Yep,
that's the most horrifying comparison you could have made. Thank
loved
you.
it. I loved it. I was like, yeah,
Um,
bitch.
I've got a couple of extra notes here. Just like I wanted to.
Yes,
I because we kind of covered them, but I wanted to read them out a little bit because
that,
I wrote, God bless Eric, he's a better man than I. The scene with him saving Frodo from the crash site, and my heart was in my fucking throat.
yeah. I would have died at
Yeah,
that
I would have
point.
been fucked. He was
Done. I
just
would have
like
farted
I.
myself.
Frankly, I wouldn't have gone after the cat. I would have been like,
No.
absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
Hence why he's a better man than I am.
As much as I love animals, no way.
I'm
Fuck no.
sorry,
No,
it's not worth it.
not worth it.
The poem he reads was written by Sam during the thunderstorm
Oh,
was
during the
really,
thunderstorm, yeah, it's very
really
good.
lovely,
It's
and
very
I
good.
kind of wanna watch it just so I can hear the poem again because
The poem
I
again, yeah.
thought I thought it was beautiful.
I love the
And it
first
was
poem
read
as well.
so it was read really. Cancer is shit. She's so right for
Shit.
that. It was just yeah, and it was lovely coming from him. Was what I wrote at the end of it.
Oh,
There, he's just like he
it
just
was
read
so
it.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
magic show at the jazz bar with the pizza, and then just wrote God.
Yep. Yep.
And the way she
Yep.
helped him through his panic attacks, I was like, yeah. My last little point was kind of like, Anna, do you have any other bits and pieces? Because I have like a kind of summary bit, if unless there's anything else you wanted to bring up specifically.
I will bring up that please give like bigger roles to Jimon Hunsu, who's such a good actor.
Yeah.
And he was wasted in part two because he was wasted in part two. And now I
Okay.
feel like he was wasted here as well.
Okay, I say there was a part of me that thought he seemed familiar, but I hadn't really thought about it that much. Again, I haven't
That's
seen
him.
part two in 3 years, so that
That's him.
does track. It'll add more to me once I watch part two again. I might go see this again in the next couple of days. I'm gonna be honest.
I will watch
I've
it again as well
I've got
next week.
I'm like I've got an itch because I really want to see it
Yeah,
again.
I will watch it again as well.
Yeah, to your point earlier about that scene with the guy who just can't shut up because he's too
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
terrified.
yeah.
I love the fact that he does his fucking damnedest to keep him quiet, and him killing him was an accident. But
Accident.
at
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
point are you like, damn, why'd you do that, dude? It's like, no, yeah, honestly, it sucks that
Yeah.
happened, but it was the only way to go forward from this moment.
True, true that, true that, and you know he was so good in every part that he appeared in, and I knew that he's not gonna play a main character yet again, but I was kind of hoping that he would be in it more, and they would let him do more and see his
I understand,
perspective.
but like just from the nature of the way that this movie is set up, there's no way for him
Yeah.
to be in it in a way that is satisfying because you take the focus away from these two, it immediately becomes too big.
Obviously, yeah, but like the main message is just like in any movie, just give more roles to Jimon Hunsu because he's fucking great,
He's very
and I
good.
love him. I love him so much.
Yeah, I think the cast is definitely one of the things that elevates this movie massively.
Yes.
And I don't know who the casting director for this movie was, but they're a fucking genius for getting these two together.
Oh fuck yeah!
Because
They're my favorite people
they're so cute
at this
together.
point.
At
So
this
cute.
point, they clearly really like each other, and I think you can see that on screen as
Yeah.
well. They just the way that he's so protective of her is really heartwarming in this movie, and she's
good.
obviously so fond of him as well. Like
Yeah.
in the movie, in spite of herself, but you can't not like him.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
a guy. His parents
He's
live in Kent.
adorable. He's adorable. Like the scene. I think that's where I fell in love with Joseph Green again, when she leaves in the morning, and then he just shows up as a lost puppy, like,
Hi. Yeah, you're not leaving without me.
yeah, and I'm like, yes, I love you so much.
I'm
You're the
I'm
best.
just a little bit obsessed with the fact that the cat was the one who found him and just led
I
him
know.
to her. Like
I
that's
know.
such a like a little like
That's one of those things.
that's like an invisible thread of fate kind of a feeling
Yeah.
of like, no, I found the person. I know you're going.
Yes.
This guy seems good.
Yeah.
So bring him and I'll stay with him.
Yeah. Yeah. And they
Just-
both survive, which is nice. Mm-hmm. I mean, the cat.
The cat, yeah, she doesn't.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Understandably.
Yeah, you can do your summary.
Yeah,
That was my only
last
message.
thing was I saw a review that basically had a headline that said something along the lines of, I don't know if this is exactly it, but it said like silence, which kind of means nothing. Like it was like showcasing a quiet place, but that they kind of suggested that it meant nothing at all. And I was like, couldn't disagree more. I said this is a character study about two people who needed each other at this particular point in time. It was about the bonds that we make, and importantly, I think it was about finding meaning at the end of the world.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my summary of the entire thing.
And the quiet in this case is her quiet story among the madness and the chaos. And that's the quiet
It's
place.
really nice that it was like it's a quiet. It is a quiet story, honestly. With all the moments of chaos that happens around it, it's such a simple story of a couple of people who just managed to like help each other in a
Yeah.
really shit place.
Yeah. Exactly.
And as much as I love Joseph Quinn, I hope that we don't see him in any other movies. I want to think of him as being perfectly okay for the rest of his life.
He's gonna be Johnny Storm next year. So
He's
like,
got
you
a
know.
cat.
He's
They
got a
told
cat.
him he's safe. That's all I ever want to see from him ever again.
But here's the thing. That's where I'm a bit worried because obviously he's on the boat that goes to the island where they end up in part 2. So that means that Eric and the cat is on the island.
And he can live there nice and happily and quietly.
I need John Krasinski to clarify this. Did they survive that rampage when the Death Angels came on the island with Cillian Murphy?
That's true.
Because
I've really got to watch that movie again, dude. I don't
do.
remember enough about it.
I watch it every year twice at least because I love these movies so much. They are easily the love of my life, and they just became another perfect trilogy in my book with this one. I'm not
We're
gonna
getting
lie.
like an actual third movie, though, aren't we? Like a
Yeah,
third
yeah, yeah, yeah.
installment.
That's gonna be a third Abbott family movie because they
Mm.
are the Abbott family. So Emily Blunt and Cillian Murphy hopefully is back as well
I hope so.
for the third one, and everyone else
That
obviously because
fucking
they are all
cliffhanger
great.
does live rent free in my brain. I don't
I
remember
know.
anything else about the movie. I just remember that recording booth and the fact that
Yeah.
it cuts off
Yep.
immediately,
And
and
it's
then
done.
that's just the end of the movie. I'm like, what the fuck? Mostly just because I found it so jarring at the time. I was like,
It's done. It's done. That was it.
yeah, crazy.
Beautifully done. All right, let's rate this movie and then let's fuck off. How would you rate A Quiet Place Day One? Tell me, out of a 10.
I think I'd give it a 9.
Oh wow. Okay.
I think I would. I loved it. I can't think if I gave it no, I couldn't give it anything less than that. I think I'd be. I'm not deducting things for no reason at that point. I think it's a 9.
Okay. Fair, fair, fair. Well, I looked at it in the set of the other two movie, and part two is still just a fucking mess. I love part two so dearly that I gave it an 8 on my review over on Cow Soup, and I have to give it an 8 still, as much as I love it. Like, I genuinely, like,
In
my only
context.
pet peeve, comes from my expectations not being met, but also I do love them so much that I'm like, I don't care, but kind of care. I don't know. It's a very confusing feeling in my head. I still very much like, I love all three. I can say this so proudly. All three of these movies so much. They are genuinely so good, and it's so refreshing to get movies like this from time to time. And I'm so glad that, the funny guy John Krasinski is just this good. Because this is an awesome story, and I love him for giving it
Yeah,
to us.
I want to give a proper shout out to the guy who directed it as well, who wrote
Yes.
the script, because he wrote this. He conceived the story with John Krasinski, but he wrote the script on his own.
Yes.
And I can't remember his name off the top of my head, so I'm gonna go find it. It's
Yeah.
like it's Michael Sarnowski. I had to think
Yes.
about how
Yes.
to
Yes.
pronounce
Yes.
that
Yes.
for a
Yes.
second. It's Michael Sarnowski, who I think did a
Very
great job.
well done.
A
Very well
really,
done.
really great job.
Yeah.
Good
Agreed.
good work.
We loved it.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was a good experience. I did get the Alien Romulus trailer as well
Oh, you
before
did?
the movie.
Yeah.
I was very, very happy. And I also realized that I will be scared shitless when I watch that movie. The
I
amount of face huggers that are in that movie are going to give me so many nightmares.
I watched the
But
teaser when it
right.
came out, I think when you sent it, and I was like, okay,
Yes.
interesting. I'm very on board with this. I
Yes.
didn't like that second trailer that I watched that felt like it gave you more of the story. I was like, this feels like it's killing the vibe a little bit for me. I kind of wish I hadn't seen this trailer.
You mean the extended?
Yeah, the one that
release
like is like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to this is where we're going, and here's all like showing all the stuff. The shot, the recreation of the shot of that you see so much. I think it's a poster where the xenomorph is coming out at. They kind of had that
Yeah,
recreation. I was a bit
yes.
like, I don't know how I feel about that. I'll wait and see. It just feels a little on the nose to me, but I'm happy to wait and find out if it's if I'm sure it's good. It's just one of those like maybe I'm a little bored of like the referencing back to the things that I've from the past sort of feeling of like, I don't know. Am I making any sense?
What I'm gonna say is that it cannot be worse than Alien Covenant.
Okay, yeah, but I'm
is
not
a
saying
fucking-
that.
Fucking rubbish. And I hate that movie with all my heart. I still don't know how Fede Alvarez got the chance to make this movie when Neil Blomkamp couldn't make his movie. Where Ripley would have come back, and Higgs would have come back, and you would have come back. It still hurts. Fuck you, Ridley Scott. I hate you so much. Anyway, this is us.
We're gonna
talking
be
about
done.
Place. Day one, we're gonna fuck off. But before we do that, we do have a entire schedule set up until August, the middle of August.
Mid August. Alien Romulus is our last movie that we
yes.
have like officially
For now.
scheduled.
Yes.
For now, we'll
now.
we'll figure some other stuff out.
Yes. I did reach out to our lovely friend Yuri to talk horror, so he's gonna probably pop out at some point on
Maybe
this
I'll
podcast.
actually
Like,
be able to contribute to one of these conversations
maybe.
properly. Because I feel like somebody in a server I'm in actually was saying that this year feels like a really strong year for horror movies.
Yes,
So
I
that's
agree.
really interesting.
I
Maybe a thing
agree.
to discuss.
Yes. So yeah, we're not going to be back next week, so
Nope.
don't look for us. Then Brian and Katie is going to be back talking about The Bear season 3
I
on the
have
12th
thoughts.
of July. And
More
then
thoughts
after
than I did about this movie. This
Jesus Christ. So that's gonna happen, and then I don't remember what else is gonna happen, but you're gonna
we
see
got
on
The
our
Boys, we got
Twitter.
Acolyte, we've got
Yes,
Deadpool
Sweet
and
Home.
Wolverine, and we have Sweet Home. We got so many things.
Yes, so many things are coming your way. So don't worry, be happy. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this thing. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, and watch movies.
Watch movies. I have to hit the introduction button now so that
Yes.
we
Cut the
time
check.
out. Godspeed, everybody. Goodbye.
Cut the check.